Dr. Alina Chan, an expert in gene therapy and cell engineering at MIT and Harvard, spoke before the Science and Technology Select Committee in the UK, according to The Telegraph. According to Dr. Chan, I think the lab origin is more likely than not. Right now it's not safe for people who know about the origin of the pandemic to come forward. But we live in an era where there is so much information being stored that it will eventually come out. We have heard from many top virologists that a genetically engineered origin is reasonable, and that includes virologists who made modifications to the first SARS virus, she added. We know this virus has a unique feature, called the furin cleavage site, and without this feature there is no way this would be causing this pandemic. A proposal was leaked showing that EcoHealth and the Wuhan Institute of Virology were developing a pipeline for inserting novel furin cleavage sites. So, you find these scientists who said in early 2018, I'm going to put horns on horses, and at the end of 2019 a unicorn turns up in Wuhan City. Lord Ridley, who co-authored a book with Chan, agreed, incredibly surprising, that after nearly 2 years we still haven't found a single infected animal that could be the progenitor. Viscount Ridley called on bad actors, who think that unleashing a pandemic is something they could get away with, to be exposed.
Dr. Chan, what probability would you put on the possibility of there having been a lab leak as the origin of COVID-19? You're a bit quiet.
You're either muted or your microphone volume is very low, Dr. Chan.
Oh, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, that's better.
Thank you.
All right. So I think the lab origin is more likely than the natural origin at this point. We all agree that there was a critical event at the Wuhan seafood market that was a super spreader event caused by humans. There's no evidence pointing to a natural animal origin of the virus at that market. But before I get into that, I'd like to point out that The Lancet really needs to publish all of the manuscripts it received. Original, whether it was withdrawn or rejected by the journal, we need to see what you received from Chinese scientists in the early days of the pandemic. We know from Jeremy Ferrar's book that The Lancet was in possession of information on human-to-human transmission of this virus and pre-symptomatic transmission of this virus, and you did not release that to the world. This could have led to many more lives saved if it could have been released to the world. So I actually came prepared with 5 recommendations for journals when you're dealing with issues where withholding or sharing data can be measured in the numbers of lives lost or saved.
Okay, I'm sure we can come on to them, but I think through questions from our members.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll do that, and I will put that suggestion to Mr. Horton later that you just made about the manuscripts, Dr. So you say more likely than not that it was a lab leak. How confident are you that we will be able to definitively determine the origins of COVID-19 over time?
I'm very confident. We've seen from previous cover-ups as well that it just takes time, because right now it's not safe for people who know about the origin of this pandemic to come forward. So it might be 5 years from now, it might be 50 years from now. But we live in an era where there's so much data being collected and stored. Everyone has a phone with cameras, with emails. Messages were flying out of Wuhan during the early days of the pandemic. We need a credible, systematic investigation to collect all of these pieces of evidence and put them together to get a much better understanding of how this pandemic might have started.
The fact that the Wuhan facility is now thought to be the source of COVID-19 is a far cry from last year, when even discussing the idea was labeled a ridiculous conspiracy theory, and those who spread it were banned from social media. China has strongly denied the lab leak theory, but it has been criticized for its lack of transparency during investigations into the pandemic's origins. Please leave your comments below on what you think. Also, please like or dislike the video, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and be notified when we post new videos. Thank you.